It's great to be with each of you, and it's great to be with the president. We just had a few minutes to talk, and here's a guy that's energized. He is doing everything he can to make sure we get the Senate back, the House back, and ultimately the presidency back. Now, for everybody that's not from Florida, I hope you spent all your money. Spend every dime you got to be Illinois, I was born there. It's too cold. California, that's pretty nice. It's a little high in taxes. High in taxes. Virginia, I have to go up there. Not many good things happen in DC right now.
Arizona.
All right. I'm also, first off, thank you for your help with the National Republican Senatorial Committee. As you know, I'm the chair. Our job is to do everything we can to elect Republican senators that believe in the dream of this country. And your support is key to making that happen. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Now we have a raffle.
Yeah. Mi rifa.
Rose Rodriguez. He fought to keep our community safe. And when he was in charge, we had a thriving economy, and we all were making more money. I was at a restaurant the other night, and my waiter said to me, he said, "Thank God when Republicans get in charge again, under President Trump, I made way more money." But Biden and the Democrats are ripping our country apart. They're killing our economy, and they're trying to destroy all the amazing wins President Trump secured for our nation. And President Trump did all those things.
No more.
Somebody should vote for Republicans against the Democrats in November. And here's the problem. There's way too many things. There's no reason you should ever vote. Any sober person in this country should ever vote for a Democrat.
Te salvaste. Fíjate que te tenía en la lista negra, pero te voy a quitar ahora por darle la gorra a Rosa.
If you like paying double for gas.
No!
That's why you should vote for a Democrat, because they do it to you.
No, I need a Trump
It's
again.
being doubled right now.
No.
How about empty shelves? No baby formula.
No,
How about open borders?
Horrible.
How about all this fentanyl coming into the country? Democrats and Biden have done all those things.
Let's go, President!
Yes.
How about doubling the size
Let's go.
of the IRS?
That's dangerous.
How about allowing men to play in women's sports? How about the FBI intimidating their parents when they want to go to school? How about giving your tax dollars to Iran where they chant down to America? How about the How about our military wasting time learning pronouns rather than having to be more legal?
Te había borrado de la lista, pero te voy a poner ahora por darle las gorras a Rosa.
How about forcing working class parents to pay for rich kids' education?
Ay, Ros, qué honor, Ros. Qué energía, qué rico, me alegro. Yo nunca me
Making babies.
Yo me gané la lotería de disco de coca.
How about spending more money than ever been
esa fue Manhattan.
Yo sé, no, pero eso es importante.
The
Yeah.
Democrats or Joe Biden are doing all that. How about abortion up until the moment of birth? Then you have to keep a baby alive. And you guys want to pay for the abortion?
No.
Socialism. Anybody from Latin America?
No.
How about the Democrats believe that this country is a racist country?
Te salvaste hoy por los pelos. No tienes pelo, pero por dar la gorra a Ross.
Defund the police. How about the violent crime wave going all over this country? How about complete incompetence? That's exactly what the Democrats and Joe Biden are.
Mira, lo voy a donar para la campaña de la
However,
que lo había quitado yo. Ese es el foco. A ver si amarillo contra todo.
if you want a secure border, if you want safe
Dale
communities,
maga hoy.
if you want
Toda maga.
independence, lower gas prices,
Ya.
if you want leaders who actually put this country first and put America first,
Yo odio a Ron y
and
quería
preserve all
morir.
the
¿Por qué
good
me
work
orino?
that President Trump
Mira, Rose. Mira. Mira. Está linda. Mira. Mira.
You did it for it, and did it for us, and President Trump did it for us.
Ahí cuando la cogiste.
Think about a past Republican president that's put this much effort into making sure Republicans win.
Ya.
Yes, that is true.
It's done what President Trump has done. He's busted his butt. Right now, he has raised money. He's running ads to help us win these Senate races. Nobody does that. So now let me introduce the 45th. President Donald J.
You know what I thought I'd do? We'll say if you think you've heard me speak before. Obviously, you like me and I like you. Don't be standing behind
No.
me.
Always.
I don't think I pay. I don't give him 10 cents. I say, that guy. And then he's got his friends. All of his friends who I love.
We love you. We love you.
And you know what they like this country. That's what they like.
Yeah.
We love it too.
Thank you very much.
We love it.
I oftentimes when I go back there, I get these massive friends. This is a very friendly little
We
group.
love you.
I love you.
You too. You guys can do this. We'll do some question and answers. We're doing a little question and answer stuff. And so think of it. It's a bad thing for me to say it at the beginning because you'll be thinking of these horrible things. That's okay. But I just want to thank Rick Scott. So Rick Scott is great. He's a worker. He was a great governor to get this state really going. And he's turned out to be a tremendous senator. And I just want to thank him. He's been my friend right from the beginning. Long before he ran for Senate. And he did very well. And the people that know, they really rate him as one of the best senators in our country. And he loves our country and he loves you. So I just want to thank Rick for that. I want to thank myself for raising so damn much money. Because Rick came up and he said, you know, you raised more money than everybody else put together. And I said, thank you very much. I'll thank you.
I love you.
You look, you know, you look like a good-looking version of Taylor. You know who Taylor is. My friend. So, win red. So I want to thank you all for being here, and we're going to have a little fun. So let's go over some of the basics, okay? I brought this out, and I said, I'm not going to read speeches. Does anybody want this speech?
And a picture, come.
No. No, no,
So much for my speech. The Senatorial Committee is out there raising a lot of money. We need it. We need to get these maniacs. These are really sick people. Think of it. Oil hits an all-time high, and Biden says, let's not do oil anymore. Think of this. This is like, this whole thing is unbelievable. It started with the energy, and that's what caused the inflation. Now it's well beyond energy. Now it's sort of leaving energy in the dust. But just think of what he does. Everything is wrong. Afghanistan was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country, or week, or month, or whatever you want to call it. And we had it, I'll tell you what, we had it down to a science. I got it down to 2,500 soldiers. I was getting ready to move out. We were going to get out after 21 years. We were getting out. We didn't lose one soldier. Think of this. We didn't lose one soldier in 18 months. No soldiers. And I spoke to Abdul. You know who Abdul is? You've heard me say this. Abdul is the head of the Taliban. And the fake news media said, why are you speaking to the Taliban? Like it's a bad thing. And I said, you know who Jesse James was? They said, yeah, he was a bandit. I said, you know what he did? He robbed banks. And when they said, why do you go after banks? He said, that's where the money is, right? So I spoke to Abdul, I spoke to the Taliban, because that's where the problem is. But I spoke to him, and we had a great talk. And I said, Abdul, here's the story. We're going to hit you so hard. If you kill anyone, they were killing a lot of our soldiers with the Obama deal. They were just killing them left and right, the sniper stuff. And I said, Abdul, you're not going to do it anymore. And if you do, we're going to hit you so hard like nobody's ever been hit before. He said, I understand. He called me Your Excellency, which is very nice. I wonder if he calls Biden Your Excellency. I don't think that. Biden will never talk to him. He's never going to talk to Abdul. Abdul took his clothing off in that deal. Think of it. $85 billion worth of equipment they got. We were humiliated. We surrendered. And we didn't lose one soldier, though, in 18 months after that call. So I said, Abdul and I had a very good talk, a couple of talks, but very good. So we didn't lose one. And they actually admitted that. They said not one soldier was lost in 18 months until that horrible day with the airport where we lost soldiers. We left back many Americans. At 85, think of it, $85 billion of equipment. They have more equipment. They're the number one, after us, the number one arms dealer in the world. They're selling what we gave them. They're the number one arms dealer, because they don't need it. They have 70,000 trucks. Many of them are all steel, everything good, the V-bottom, so when the bombs go off, it blows, but the bombs even got too tough for that stuff. But think of it, this was all, much of it armor-plated, millions of dollars for each truck, 70,000 trucks were left behind. Airplanes, helicopters, of which China has one and Russia has one, so they can take them apart, the best helicopters in the world. They can duplicate what we have. There's never been a time like this in our country. I think that was the most humiliating period of time I've ever seen. And the fake news, who are just absolutely atrocious, they are truly the enemy of our people. But the fake news, if you look at it, they don't want to cover it. They very rarely do you ever hear the word Afghanistan mentioned, or even inflation they hate talking about. And inflation's killing us, the economy's killing us. But I said to Abdul, don't do it, don't ever do it again. And we didn't lose 18 months, we didn't lose one soldier. Does anyone know that? You know, we didn't lose one soldier. And then we had a rigged and stolen election, which I put out. Did anyone see my letter today? And people had to have it. Because some people said, well, you know, the other side. They said, well, I think Trump really thought he lost. I think he won that election in a landslide. Okay, it was a rig. They had an expression, a communist expression. Lenin. Did you ever hear of Lenin? Lenin, sometimes referred to as Lenin. but he said that the vote counter is oftentimes much more important than the candidate. I would say always more important, but more important than the candidate. And that was terrible what happened to us. If you look at Georgia, you look at Pennsylvania, you look at Arizona, and Nevada, and Wisconsin has actually admitted it. I mean, Wisconsin has done a great job. They've admitted it. So it's been incredible, I'll tell you what. So we're going to look very strongly, and I think you're going to be real happy real soon, okay? You know the expression, we make it do it again. I thought I could just sit back and relax and have a nice time. Let's see what happens. But I think it'll be bigger than anything that's ever taken place. It'll be doing it again, much bigger than the other way. And I have to say yes because of campaign finance ridiculous rules, rules and regulations, which the Democrats don't obey. They can cheat in the elections and nobody holds them to it. But we have to obey because they have a different standard, you know that. But Rick's leadership has been great. November 8th is the big day. Every race matters, every Senate seat, and it could be the difference between the radical left and look, I think we're going to do very well in Congress. I don't know about you, I feel that 6 months ago was really high. And then 2 months ago, we were starting to not feel so good. Does that make sense to you? Meaning the results, what we anticipated, the results. And then a couple of weeks ago, all of a sudden it started to come back. And now the generic poll, whatever it means, generic poll. But if the Republicans are 6 down, historically they do well. And we're now 6 or 7 back up again. Who knows what that means? Generic poll. But literally, the Republicans are always, they never win the generic poll, and now we're winning by quite a bit. But we have a lot of very important races, and if you look at what they've done, they burned down the economy. I mean, this economy is a disaster. And I don't even think they know it. In fact, he talks about, no, we don't want to have a recession. We're in a recession. We're going to have a recession. The Senate filibuster, a lot of damage can take place in the next few months, just so you understand. And people should have held them to the debt ceiling, and nothing would have been approved. But you know the particular person I'm talking about, right? And it's not Rick Scott. Who said debt ceiling, and we're not approving anything. And the $4 trillion going to the Green New Deal, it's not going to infrastructure, it's going to the Green New Deal. It's a terrible thing. Unlimited number of illegal aliens are pouring into the country.
And terrorists.
We had the strongest border in history, now we have the weakest, I think, ever in history of the world, because no third world country, as I say all the time, would ever allow that to happen. There's no country in the world would allow this to happen. They want to destroy our Second Amendment. They're going to do things so they don't want to give you protection. They don't want to take care of our police. They want to defund the police, because you look at some of these, they try and keep them as quiet as possible. They have a movement on to defund the police. And then they want to take away your guns to defend yourself. That's a lot of bad stuff that's happening. Packed the courts with the radical left justices and judges. You saw what just got approved. And not so good. Ran through every lunatic idea of the communist left. I used to talk about socialists, right? You were there. I'd say, socialism. We just skipped over socialism, fellas. We're into communism
It's
now.
communism. Yes.
Socialism is a thing of the past. We have just skipped over socialism. There's no socialism. Socialism has been gobbled up. When you look at what's going on with the FBI, how about this? They spent $1 million. They gave $1 million if you could find bad crap. This is the FBI on Trump. This has never happened before.
Never.
And part of that was while it was a sitting president. So they offered to steal. Bad guys steal.
They're scared.
It's kicked all over the place now. But they offered $1 million. This just came up to see what happens with that one. But can you imagine? The government has offered $1 million to take on Trump. Do you think they like me? I don't think they like me. But they don't like me because we're doing what should be done for our country. That's why.
Amen.
So we have to elect Marco Rubio, and he's a good man and a good guy. We did have some interesting debates, didn't we?
Yes.
We had good debates with Marco, but he's a good man, and he's doing okay. I think he's leading by, I heard Rick was telling me 5 or 6 points, but that's not enough, because if they do the cheating, that 5 or 6 points can go right down the finish. Ron Johnson in Wisconsin's doing Ted Budd in North Carolina, I endorsed Ted, and nobody had heard of Ted Budd. I endorsed him. He was a congressman from a certain area, but they don't want to talk about that because he's looking like he's heavily favored. So they don't want to talk. They only want to say Trump put, I don't want to use names, Trump put this one, this one, this one. They don't want to talk about the ones that are killing it, right? But Ted Budd is doing fantastic. Herschel Walker, who right now is in a debate as we speak. I can't believe you guys don't want to watch this damn debate. One of the great inventions in history is TiVo. Television is not a great invention, because without TiVo, meaning TiVo or its equivalent, who the hell wants to watch television? They say, you were just on, I say, I'll never see it again. Right? Anyway, but we'll watch that later on. But Herschel Walker right now, and I think he's great, and he's Herschel. Herschel was running a great football club ever, 10.2 yards a carry for a period of time. He was actually great in the NFL too. You know, he had a great career, but he was maybe the best in college. You agree? I mean, all time. I'd say him and Barry Sanders. He had a few of them. 3 or 4, let's say they're all pretty good. Herschel was right there, and in Georgia, there's never been anything like it. And Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania is leading their tide. It's been a very tough, and he took a lot of pounding during the primaries. You know, they spent $54 million trying to destroy him. But he's a good man, and he's working very hard. J.D. Vance is doing very well. Blake Mannessy, I just left. We did a big rally. We had thousands, tens of thousands of people in Arizona. Adam Laxalt, I just left there too. I'm doing all these rallies, and I'm not doing them for myself. I said, when am I going to start thinking about myself? These guys know more about my rallies than I do. How many have you been to, would you say? A hell of a lot. My lucky charm. No, but they've been to a lot of them, right?
Yes, sir.
You travel together, you say, the hell with it, we just meet up and travel. That's good. Well, we love you guys.
Love you too. Love you too. Love you too.
You know, in theory, and I tell people, the best seats over here,
Yes.
the best, but actually the best seats behind me, because you become famous.
Yeah. Yeah.
You might have to look at my ass. The best seat is actually behind me. Because you become famous. We've actually had people, we've actually had, sometimes we have a young woman. Now,
Es un
of
duro
course,
del
I never said
cajado.
it like this because I want to be politically correct. And you know,
Yeah.
So I would not say it. Who said that? Who said that?
Yeah.
But sometimes you'll have a young, beautiful woman behind. And on a
Yes.
couple of occasions, people watching from Hollywood have gone and they've said, would you like to come on to Hollywood? I don't know what the hell happened, but it does happen. I don't know if it's going to happen with you, but I'll pick you up. But no, but sometimes it happens. We've had 2 instances. I mean, people are riveted to the television. I say they're looking at me. No, they're looking over at this one. And we have great people. We have great people. We have great looking people, both inside and outside. But we have to elect these people, and I think we're going. We need the majority in the Senate, and we need the majority in the House. And the House, I think, is interesting. The Senate, if you would have told me a month ago that we're really looking at beyond having the 50, it'd be very surprising. Today I'm watching one of the shows and they're predicting more than 50, even 52, and that's amazing. But a lot of these races, you know, people are tired of crime, and they're tired of inflation and a bad economy, and they're tired of stupid people running things, and they're tired of hearing about nuclear weapons. You know, the Iran, you would have never, if you look at Iran, I got out of that. They want to make it. They want to put us back into that deal. They're trying like hell to make it. Maybe now, finally, they're getting the picture that that's not going to work. But what I did for Israel, not only did the countermeasure, we got our beautiful Israel taken care of, and But when you look, the biggest thing I did, not only the Capitol, we designated, as you know, through our wonderful people that we had representing us, and they were happy. I think 8 or 9 or 10 presidents said they were going to do that, and I did it. And we gave them the Mount on High. Everybody knows about the Mount on High. But the most important thing, I think, is they terminated the horrible Iran nuclear deal, because I don't believe that Israel survives. I tell you what, Israel's going to have some problem surviving if that's allowed to go. And that's one of many problems. I mean, you look now, and if you take a look at Ukraine, that could lead to World War III. And I've been saying that a long time. Somebody's got a hat on over here, and it says Trump was right on everything. And it's true. I don't So, but you know, getting the embassy built in Jerusalem, it's sort of an interesting story, because a general came in to see me. Sir, yes, what is it, Jim? Would you please sign this, sir? What is it? Sir, this is a $2 billion funding of the embassy in Israel and Jerusalem. I said, oh, do you have a second? No, sir. I said, why do you need $2 billion if you don't have a second? So I said, boy, that's a lot of money, $2 billion for a one-story building, right? Anybody in the rest of it? Here you could build it in Florida, you could build it for about $2, right? I said, General, put it away, I think we can do better. So I called up our ambassador to Israel, David Friedman, good guy. And I said, David, we're always there first, and we always own lots of land. Do we have any land in Jerusalem? Sir, I'll check. So he calls me back the next day, he says, you know, we have a great piece, very high, building setback, building is vacant, and we could renovate the building. I said, how much? I'll get back to you again. He calls me up, he says, I think we could do a beautiful job for $280,000. I just turned down $2 billion, right? I said, David, you have to do me a favor. Number one, use Jerusalem stone, because I have a friend in New York, one of the richest guys, Barron, his name is Ron Barron, and he's got beautiful office building in New York, and his wall opposite the elevator, it's like half the size of this wall, not a big deal. And his wall, he looks back. His wall is Jerusalem stone. Every time I go in, he says, this is Jerusalem stone. He's sold like 10 times. So here we are in Jerusalem. I said, David, see if you can use Jerusalem stone. They said, can you get it? He said, yeah. I said, Diamond, I said, over there. You're in Jerusalem. So anyway, I said, David, don't say 250,000. So it's the only time I've ever done this in my life. The guy said 250, and I said, make it more, make it 500,000. 250 sounds too low. But we have this building, nice building, old, and we renovated it for $500,000. And it was built 4 months later and opened. There's never, now they'll do this, someday they'll knock it down and build a stupid embassy that won't look as good, won't be as good, it'll end up being smaller. Not, you know, I mean, what they do is just incredible. But, so we got it, not only did we do Jerusalem, but we got the building built. And it's all out of this beautiful Jerusalem stone. It's really a beautiful building. But Iran, if they're allowed to have a nuclear weapon, that deal would have ended 1 week. As I came back, we would have had the Iran nuclear deal. Iran would have made a deal with us 100%, because I had China couldn't buy. We didn't let China buy. We didn't let it. If you buy oil, we're not doing business with you, China. If you buy oil, there's no doing business with you. You know, they make $500 billion a year with the United States, but they don't like me too much because I put tariffs on China. 50% and 25%. And I saved our steel industry by doing it. I saved our washing machine industry. I saved a lot of it. And we took in almost $500 billion from China. Not one president took in anything. So we had the best economy in history. Pre-COVID, I told this the other night, if George Washington and Abraham Lincoln came alive from the dead, right? The pollster told me this, great pollster, John McLaughlin. Fabrizio told me, another great pollster. If they came alive from the dead, and they said, George, and he said, what is it, Abe? Let's run. Let's run. Let's run against who? Trump. George Washington, president. Abe Lincoln, vice president, against Trump. We would have won by 35 points, okay? No, we had the greatest economy in history.
Yes.
We were doubling up in China. We were doing numbers that nobody ever thought was possible. African American, Asian American, Hispanic.
Yeah.
People that didn't graduate from high school, no diploma. People that did graduate from high school. People that went to the Wharton School of Finance and MIT and all these great places. And they had people that went, if they had a great doctorate. Everybody was doing well. Women, everybody. And I will say, I was starting to get calls from the people on the left. See, now I talk about very nicely. The people on the left as opposed to the lunatics on the left. Then they became lunatics again. But the people on the left were calling, and I'm telling you, there was going to be a unification in this country. And then we noticed a little thing come in from China. I'm looking, what is that?
Yeah.
And it came out of the Wuhan labs that I said, remember I said that early on. I said, the lab in Wuhan. How would you know that? Well, there are a lot of dead people lying. You ever seen the pictures? The dead people and the body bags all over the place. I said, what's that building? That's the Wuhan lab. What do they do? You know what they do? And then they said, no, it took place in Italy. They tried to blame everybody but themselves. It took place in France. It took place in the United States. Oh, did I get angry when I heard that? But we did an incredible job. Then we built it back up. Operation Warp Speed was incredible. The therapeutics that we came up with were great. Other things I did were great, but I'm not allowed to talk about that because half of you will get angry at me, so I can't talk about that. Even though we did it in 9 months instead of 12 years, it was 5 to 12 years. But I don't mention that word because I'll lose a couple of people out of here, and I don't want to lose anybody. But Operation Warp Speed was incredible. The therapeutics, Regeneron, and all of this stuff was incredible. And then we had the bad election, the stupid election, where we did, remember this, we did much better the second time.
Yeah.
You know, this New York Times comes in there asking me a question, sir, what happened with 2020? I said, well, actually, we did much better than we did in 2016.
Yeah.
No president has ever gotten 75 million votes, or anywhere near it, I think. I think the highest was 66 million. But no president has ever gotten, no sitting president has ever gotten that. And some of the stats are amazing. If you win Ohio and Florida, which I did by landslides. No, we won Florida by a lot, and we spent a fraction, just a tiny fraction of the money that they spent. But no president's ever won Florida. I think you had to go back to 1960. But if it's Florida, Iowa, and Ohio, no president has ever won all three in history and lost. We have all these statistics that you could add, and they're like 10 different things. I put some of them in the letter. Did anyone notice? I put them in the letter to the Unselect Committee. Isn't that a great name, the Unselect? I never get credit for that. You know why? Because they just pass it up. Even no matter who I'm talking to, if I'm talking to a member of the, I say, well, you're a member of the Unselect Committee of political thugs and hacks. And you have to get, and they look at me like, well, we feel this and that. They don't even want to talk about it. I think it's one of our great things, but that's what they do now. They don't talk about things. They never, one thing they don't want to talk about? Only one thing, really. It all evolves. The 2020 presidential election. That's the one thing. And all of this other stuff, the laptop, it all had to do with the election. Everything has to do with the election because that was indeed the crime of the century. And a lot of the things that, the fact that they don't want to talk, the fact that they won't discuss certain subjects, ultimately it's all about the election because that was the single greatest crime in the history of our country. Millions of people are dead now because of it. Ukraine would have never happened. Inflation would have never happened. China wouldn't have ships circling Taiwan right now. Putin would have never done it. I'll tell you what, Putin would have never done it. President Xi, I got along with him very well. President Xi would have never ever done it. But think of it, you would have had gasoline at less than $2. We would have been energy dominant. We're already energy dominant, but we were energy independent like never before. Like never before. And it's very sad what happened. But I just want to say that our country can be great again. We had a there's nothing like
Yeah.
MAGA.
I know, yeah.
Somehow CAG, I don't know.
Yeah.
But CAG is Keep America Great. And I love that campaign because we had made America great. And we were all set to use that for the next campaign. And then what happened, and we would have used it for this campaign, and it was very nice, Keep America Great. But America is right now a country in decline. It is a country that is failing. And if you look at crime, and if you look at inflation, you look at the economy, you look at the embarrassment all over the world, we cannot say that we're a great country. So I can't say keep America great because it's an inaccurate term. So I just keep going with MAGA, make America
We love you. We love you. We love you. We love you. We love you.
65.
We love you.
There's a woman over here.
Yeah.
There's a woman over here. And I would never call her a liar, but she said she was 65 years old. And I said, I don't mind that. She could be 100 as well. Her mother is 92 and a beautiful woman. Beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Where's your mother? She's sitting right there. She's a beautiful woman. Your daughter might be more beautiful than you. You know that, right? That's a problem in life, but that's okay. That's a problem you're proud of. But her daughter, so she said, I'm 65. I said, there's no way. Come here, Chrissy. Come up here. I want to show you this. Come here. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Look at this. And these people. Wow. You're looking good. We're all getting a little older.
No, yo no voy a decir mi edad, tiene que me empaque. ¡Wow! Es el mejor, fíjate eso. Yeah.
What I call a great Republican, and again, I never say this anymore because it's not a good thing to say. She's a beautiful woman, but I will never say that.
Yeah.
In the old days, you could say, you look very beautiful. Today, if you say that, they sue you.
Yeah.
I can't even believe my good fortune here. I'm a contest winner. I turned 65 on October 5th. On October 7th, I was told that I won this contest. And I'm just, this great man. Nothing could have ever done what this man did with his world tour and the capitulation of all the world leaders. This man is like amazing, and God bless him.
Yes.
The military that's around this man, and I'm telling you, sir, anything you need, I'm there.
Your daughter is beautiful inside and out, okay? And so are you. I just thought that was incredible, right? I just think she's fantastic. So, let's do a couple of questions, and they can be embarrassing questions. I'm not like Biden, where they read a question and then he turns to a teleprompter and reads the answer. What is that all about, right? They can be very provocative.
Yeah.
They can be sexually oriented. Yes, go ahead.
She loves you.
Oh, I love you too.
Remember, she went to Bedminster. She was in Bedminster.
Thank you very much. You two are great.
Yeah.
How are you together as a family?
Yeah.
Well, I went to all your rallies.
Yeah.
Tours, Wisconsin, Ohio.
Right.
And I meet
Yeah.
her a lot. I didn't know her.
Right.
Every time I meet her, she sees that I live broadcast
Right.
with you from all your events.
Right.
She says, I don't want to die before I see Mr. President.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
I said, I promise you.
Well, I'll come down when we're
Yeah.
finished. I'll shake your hand, okay?
Whoa.
Get me a couple of hats for your
Mr.
Yeah.
President,
That's
this
beautiful.
woman is It's
So go ahead, give me a
relentless.
question. Go ahead.
So, Mr. President, I'm not gonna tell you to remember me like every time I meet you,
Go ahead.
but you said that they're not after me, they're after you, just in a way.
True.
Yeah.
I'm a living example of that.
Yeah.
And my 5 children have suffered dearly for how dare I support you.
Wow.
But the question is, you're the only president in history that have over 100 million people willing to go to battle and go to jail and stand up for you until today.
Yeah.
The issue is, why can't we organize these people in a very methodological way, scientific way? It's not about doing the right thing, it's about doing the right thing at the right time. And now is the right time. The left had made no mistake about their determination to see you in an orange prison suit. And
Hillary needs to be in an orange
willing to
suit.
prevent that from happening, and there are 100+ million people will prevent that from happening. We just need to organize.
So I
Yeah.
think, and
Can we reactivate the Tour de Trump?
it's too good.
Yeah.
Let me just say this, we won't get into any controversy today, but this country is now, in my opinion, in many respects, at the most dangerous level it's ever been at. And that includes outside, that includes inside. The anger in this country is incredible, and it's very sad to see. I made a speech patriotically, right? We call it the patriot speech, but no matter what you say, and yet they could go out and say, you attacked them at a restaurant. You did, Maxine Waters, low IQ person. She's out there.
Yeah.
You can hit them, you can attack them, kill them, you can say anything you want, but with the Republicans. But beyond that, because of a rigged and stolen election, we could end up in a nuclear war.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because what he is saying to Putin and the others is so bad. It's so, everyone thought I would be in war like within 24 hours. And I got us out of war. We were going to have a war with North Korea that have serious nuke power. We were going to have a war with others. I got us out. I got us out of Syria. I got us out of Iraq.
You're one.
Yeah.
One and only. You're
Ended that
special.
Iran deal, that horrible deal, and they respected us. They weren't going to play games. And Russia wasn't playing games with me either. Russia, what I did to Russia, they always say, oh, he was giving I ended their pipeline. I ended their pipeline. I put sanctions. And at the same time, I got along with Putin. That's a good thing.
Yes.
I say to people, that's a good thing, not a bad thing. But now, what's going on with Russia, and I think it's very unfair. I mean, we want to help people that are being slaughtered.
Yes.
We have to help people, but Europe is putting up very little money. Europe is putting up almost no money, and we're putting up massive amounts of money. And at some point, it has to stop. It's like NATO. When I first came in, I said, you people aren't paying. We're protecting you. We're paying for almost the whole cost. And somebody stood up, the president of one of the 28 countries stood up and said, does that mean that if we don't pay, you're not going to protect us from Russia? I said, that's what it means. And the following day, billions of dollars.
Yeah.
I would have said, politically, Bush and all these, the rhinos and the...
Malo que salió otro de cartón.
They say it loud and clear. No, but always protect you. No, because if you say that, they're not going to pay. I said, that means that we're not going to protect you. If you're delinquent, that's a real estate term, in case you don't know, they probably understand this. But if you're delinquent, that means we're not going to protect you at all. And the following day, billions of dollars, and I think we took in ultimately $430 billion. That's why they have the money now to do what they're doing. But Europe has to
did the
pay.
work for it.
Europe has to help too, because we're paying vastly more than Europe. And there's such a thing as fairness. And, China, Europe, every European country, they treat us very badly on trade.
Yes, they do.
They treat us very badly on NATO, although I straightened it up, but now they're back at it again. They're not paying their bills, and they got to pay their bills. So a lot of things happen that are very unfair to the United States, but there is great anger. I agree with you on that. There is tremendous anger, and we'll be watching everything very closely. Okay? Thank you very much. I understand.
Yeah.
We need to get back to social media. How do we do that?
So we have truth. And I find truth to be better.
It's not
I
friendly, Mr.
find it
President.
better than Twitter. And I think Twitter's been exposed with all of the fake accounts and the bots. What do you think?
It's not. I have 40,000 followers on Instagram.
Right.
I tried Truth. It's not friendly. All of a sudden,
Instagram is not friendly.
no, Truth is not friendly. I
know.
started getting propaganda of like hair salons and hair extensions. I'm like, what happened? It's not friendly.
Really?
It's not. The flow is not there.
Ah.
It's not easy
I
to
find
follow.
it, I find the engagement to be better. So I had over 200 million people between Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and these various things. Zuckerberg came into the White House. That guy kissed me left and right. And he came into the White House and he said, I want to congratulate, in front of my wife, we were having dinner. And he said, how do you like Melania? Do you like
Beautiful.
Melania?
The best lady.
That's what our country
Yeah.
is, but she's great.
wanna see her
And she says hello, yeah, she says hello to everybody. But he came in and he said, congratulations, you're number one on Facebook. And I said, thank you, I didn't even know that, thank you. And then, I was number one, then we got cut off because they cut off a lot of people, but they cut me off. And it was just stated in one of the business papers a couple of days ago, one of the worst business decisions made in the last 5 years is cutting Trump off because they've lost all of their energy. Facebook stock is down $77 billion since they got me off. Twitter is through the floor, other than there's a possible takeover. I don't know if he wants to buy it for $44 billion. I don't like it. For $44 billion, would you rather have Twitter or the cash?
The cash.
He's taking the cash. So am I. Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a good job with it. Good.
I cannot now, how can you get it back to, going back to where it was? Because now it's not even go to my primary.
No, we had it down. We had a great group. And I hear they're doing a lousy job now. We had a 94% approval rating on the VA. Nobody's ever been above 50. Oh, is it down? We did something, as you know, where if you had to wait a long time for a doctor, we let you go to a private doctor and pay. Wow, that's terrible. That is such a big deal. Because people were in the VA and they literally would become terminal waiting for something, and they'd have to wait 4 or 5 weeks to see a doctor, and they would get very sick, where they could have been. And we had that done. Nobody's ever done it before. Where you go out, you do a doctor, we paid them, but we had a whole thing, and it was working great. And I'm hearing that they very much ended that. People are waiting online again. They have great doctors in there, but people can't, administratively, they can't see them. Right. Wow, that's amazing. I had heard it was not nearly as good, but I hadn't heard it. That's very sad. We did a great job. Well, I guess you're going to have to see what we do in a little while. People coming into our country illegally, they get everything. They get better than the VA gets. They get everything. And we don't even know who the hell these people are. They empty their prisons into our country. Okay, we'll take a couple more questions.
Right here, Mr. Trump.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Yeah.
Mr. President, I gave you the insignia of the brigade in 2016.
Right.
When you came to our brigade meeting.
That's
and I
right.
worked full time in your campaign
That's right.
as well. My concern are the electronic voting machines, particularly Dominion voting system. So how can you protect the integrity of the election if so many states are using those electronic machines that can be altered?
Yeah.
That's your concern. It's a concern of many other people.
Many people.
Not only that, but a lot of them. And it's a concern. And as you know, I will be going to paper ballots. You gotta go paper ballots.
Yeah.
Voter
Yeah.
ID.
Same day voting.
Yeah.
France is a big country. 36 million people voted 4 months ago. At 11 o'clock in the evening, it was all over. There was nobody complaining about the results and nothing. Paper ballots, voter ID, no mail-in ballots other than military that's far away, and somebody that's legitimately sick.
Yeah.
Legitimately sick. Basically no very little mail-in ballots, because mail-in ballots are corrupt. They've got to go through.
Yeah.
It's not even believable that people would say they're not. In fact, even Jimmy Carter said they're corrupt if you do.